The Hostage is a 1967 suspense film set in suburbia, specifically Iowa. The first feature-length motion picture completely shot in the state. The movie was produced and directed by Russell Doughten, a man on a mission in many ways. The Hostage stars Danny Martins, Don Kelly, John Carradine, and Carradine Stanton. In a small town in middle America, Davy's family is packing up their apartment, and Davy can't help but be in the way. A blusterous furniture mover named Bull and his assistant arrive to pack up the furniture, and they unknowingly pack up Davy in the truck as well. While Davy's parents search the neighborhood for their son, the movers take a detour to dump a body that Bull strangled to death last night. Davy gets discovered and runs for his life. Will Davy reunite with his parents, or will he be the next in the big guy's grasp? The Hostage was part of Doughten's quest to make movies outside of Hollywood and ultimately to make movies that would speak for his faith. His first film job was for Good News Productions, a small company out of Pennsylvania that made religious films. In 1956, Doughten would have production duties on the company's first secular film, a sci-fi project called The Blob, starring Steve McQueen. Doughten lived in Hollywood for a few years after that, then back to Iowa to start his own company and show what he could do in his backyard. Doughten chose to adapt an early novel by Henry Farrell, a writer who had a knack for writing suspenseful tales that worked well on the big screen. The Hostage really benefits from filming their story in a small town, instead of Hollywood's approximation of that. The camera is able to make the locations feel ordinary and ominous at the same time. The characters are recognizably typical and fallible, and when they encounter a twist of bad luck, it's their own flaws that send them down dark paths. It's a hint of the American Gothic terrain to be explored later by David Lynch and the Coen brothers. But Coen brothers films benefit from unique characters, performed perfectly, all residents attuned to their unique world. The Hostage doesn't have that kind of consistency with the performances. Nobody's really bad in it, but the range of acting styles is too broad. Danny Martins plays the boy. It's his first film, and it shows. He plays it small. Don Kelly was a day player who had appeared on several of the top TV westerns of the day, multiple times. Hostage was intended to be a breakout role for him. He plays Bull, the psychotic furniture mover, and he plays it big. He's not even human. He's a storm front in a jumper. Most of the cast, in fact, were TV veterans, and they perform as if they were on set of a daytime drama instead of a feature film. Even John Carradine, in the drive-in movie phase of his career, is acting on a different level from everyone else as the curmudgeonly town bum. He may not have even been acting. Cinematographer Ted V. Mickles talked about drinking with him at the local bars until he'd get kicked out for drunk and disorderly Shakespeare monologuing. If there's one performance in this film that's aged well, it's from Carradine Stanton. He had done many TV westerns prior to this, but The Hostage was one of Stanton's first big-screen roles. As Bull's reluctant partner, he comes off the most natural, and also the most dynamic. His character feels as small and as real as the world around him, or maybe just the most modern performance. The Hostage was acquired by Crown International and released to the drive-in circuit. It underperformed at the box office, but it proved what could be done in Iowa. Doughten was able to get his next film distributed by Paramount Pictures. But it wasn't until his collaborations with director Donald Thompson that it all came together for Doughten when he became producer for 1973's Thief in the Night, the first of 4 movies set in the wake of the Rapture. The combination of evangelical messaging and exploitation film language would create the first churchploitation blockbuster, finding millions of viewers in church screenings worldwide. Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins also cite the film series as an influence for their Left Behind series of novels, which became a Christian industry blockbuster of its own. The Hostage is by most standards a secular film. There's no quoted scriptures, no deus ex machinas, no stopping the story cold to preach, just a dark parable sharply told. And even without the nudity and gore, it's as much of an exploitation film as any minor Alfred Hitchcock project. If you appreciate small-town suspense stories, The Hostage is a sufficient tale with an early peek at some future talents before they really hit the pavement.